Let's show the versatility of bread.
What is going on, everyone? We are doing a voiceover for this video because all of the audio from recording is scuffed. It sounds like this, and that isn't pleasant. So we're going to be doing everything with a voiceover. Yeah, this week I have a loaf of bread that I need to use before it gets moldy and everything like that, and I don't want to chuck it out. We are going to be using all of this bread. And to start with, we are going to be making some toasties. So for toasties, we just get some sliced bread. We're going to butter each side, and from there we're going to add mustard in. So we're going to be adding mustard. We're then going to be adding some sliced tomatoes, some pickles, and then some cheese. Then we get our sandwich grill, and we just put it in the sandwich grill, and at that you get a nice kind of toasty outside with melted cheese in the middle, and boom, we have our first recipe, or first thing that I like to use the bread for. Next thing we are going to be making is a bruschetta. So we are going to prep our ingredients to start off with. We're basically just going to dice up some tomatoes. Once those are diced up, we are then going to be frying up a little bit of olive oil and garlic. I was a bit indecisive and didn't really know which pan to use and whatnot, but I found one that works for induction hob in a pan-like shape instead of a saucepan. Once the garlic is crisp, kind of golden brownish, we're then going to pour it on our prepped tomatoes. Then we're going to add in some balsamic vinegar, salt, pepper, just get a nice taste going. Once we leave that settling there, we're going to be toasting our bread, and I'm just going to use it straight on the pan that we were using before to get some of that garlic flavor back into the bread. Once that is toasted in the bread, we're then going to add our tomato on top, and then just going to garnish with a little bit of parsley, flat leaf parsley. I didn't have any basil, which is what's preferred, but you just got to do what you got to do, right? And boom, recipe number 2 done. That's 2 recipes down. And right now I'm feeling a little bit, I want something sweet. I want something a bit desserty after that bruschetta. So we are going to be making some bread and butter pudding. And, to make it even easier, we're going to be doing it in the air fryer. So to start off with, we cut up our bread into slices and then into triangles. We then get some softened butter and butter each side, making sure that we cover the base of the air fryer with the bread. Once we get it covered on the base with our buttered bread, we are then going to be making a milk and egg mixture, sort of like a custard, I suppose. I'm using my own cashew milk that I make at home. It's very simple stuff. And we're just adding 2 eggs and a cup and 3/4 of cashew milk in my instance. Get that all mixed together, sprinkling a bit of nutmeg as well. Then realizing that the bowl I had was insufficient for the purposes that I needed for mixing this mixture, I transferred to a metal bowl, which I keep forgetting that I have. I have bigger bowls to use. Once I've moved into other bowl, I then got around to mixing it. Then we're going to pour that into our kind of air fryer basin that we have our bread in. Get that all nice and squished down. Make sure it soaks up into all that goodness. And then we're going to sprinkle on top some brown sugar. I actually have brown sugar now. I bought some since so many recipes called for brown sugar and I didn't have it. Finally got some. And some black currants. Get that all sprinkled on top. Then we're just going to close the air fryer. We're going to put on the bake and roast mode. We're going to do for 30 minutes at 170. Recipes call for 175 for 30 minutes in a preheated oven, but the air fryer keeps its temperature and stays warm and hotter. So 170 for 30 minutes is actually perfect in this case, which is great. And there we have bread and butter pudding, which actually turned out a lot like French toast. I'm not sure if that's what bread and butter pudding's like, because I've never really had bread and butter pudding too much. I can't really remember what it's like, but it was very nice. So boom, recipe number 2 or 3. Recipe number 3 done. We have just a little bit of bread left over. So what better way to use this than simplest garlic bread I can ever think of. And yes, we're doing it in the air fryer. So we slice up our bread like we usually do. Then we're going to have a bowl. We're going to add in some grated garlic, fresh garlic, some Italian herbs or whatever sort of herb seasoning you want, and then some margarine or butter, whatever pickles you fancy. I just, for some reason, always have margarine. Mix that all together, and then we're going to slap it on the bread, chuck it into the air fryer. We're going to chuck it on for 180 for 4 minutes. And this gets, if you have enough butter, it will get like a nice crispy bread, but also have a nice soft on the top from the margarine. And boom, simple garlic bread, which I'm having for dinner. And there we have it. We finished our loaf of bread over 2 days with some recipes that are very simple indeed.